them out there right now cutting their grass as you have in the past. So, some honesty is long overdue. Thank you.
I think the commission really addressed this. If you ever sat in at a special master hearing, if you're foolish enough to come in violation, it's not inconceivable that you walk away with a $100 a day fine, and that puts quite a shock across people's faces.
Commissioner, I thank you for your service, number one.
A little closer to the mic, John.
My name is John Gluzak. I want to thank the commissioner for her service. Maybe you could help us out on a security and safety issue. There's a part of fence missing in Century Village. I understand that code enforcement and the engineer agreed that it could be put up. I want to know when it could be put up, and I'm asking our officers.
The engineer was here. We have drawings. A vendor has been selected, and I should suspect those two gaps will be patched within a week at worst, John.
I thank you.
All right.
Marcia Zaccardi, Chatham. I think the county and code enforcement bears some responsibility with all this, because at that south end, they said that was part of their property. So the code enforcement has not enforced what they should enforce, and the county has not done anything to clean it up. So I really think it's not only Mr. Walbin's too has not done his part, but I really feel the county and code enforcement has not done their part as well.
All right. When the hearing is called, make your presence known. I just want to make one modification. I would not dare say that the commissioner was in error. On the development, plural, across the street, the one you mentioned to the north of the synagogue is the mikveh, and I'm sure you've all seen the sign on the mikveh. However, directly south of that synagogue, a developer has applied for, and maybe you can tell us if it was granted, to increase the density to multifamily residential 18 units per acre. That's a 9-acre plot, so conceivably we could have about 100+ units built there. You have anything additional on that? I think his name is Gonzalez.
He will come to the community, and he will do his presentation and listen to your concerns, the things that you might want to mitigate anything that's part of that project.
Yeah, I think we're a little concerned, although I don't think the mikveh is going to have any major impact on traffic, but 100+ units chunked down in there might. And I think that would be the major community concern.
Traffic.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we haven't. I just put it up on the website that I maintain, and I haven't heard any significant comment. I got one comment, and it spoke to traffic. Yeah. All right.
Hi, my name is Alfred Thomas. I'm the former president for 27 years at Cambridge Bee Condo Association, and I retired the 1st of this month. In any case, when I was sitting with the owner of the golf course, Brad, one evening waiting to hit golf balls, and he said that the driving range pays all of his expenses, and whatever he takes it across the golf money was his profit. We had a golf club here of which I was the secretary. We had 112 men who paid $112 a year each to play golf in the men's club. There were 63 women who paid $1,200 each a year to play golf. And when he bought that golf course, I wrote an article in the newspaper several times about him. And he called me on the phone and suggested we have dinner. And I said, I don't want to go out to dinner with you, thank you very much. He said, may I come and speak with you? I said, yes, you may. He came to my house, and for an hour and a half, he told me what would happen should he build it on the golf course. Our homes would increase in value by 50%. Where he got that idea, I have no idea, because that would not affect our homes by anything. In any case, traffic, if he built, traffic on Haverhill would be unbelievable with the properties he was building. And we spoke for, as I said, an hour and a half, and he suggested that the first thing he did was fire our groundskeeper, who was an agronomist from Australia. And he took perfect care of that golf course. And we had a visitor who was a golfer, a professional golfer from Mexico. And he played that golf course, and he said that's the best short course he's ever played. In any case, Mr. Waldman fired our groundskeeper. He hired a Mexican gentleman who knew how to run a lawnmower. And it took exactly 1 year for the golf course to go to hell. And he sold it. And he tried to sell it. After he bought it, he just let it go. And it became impossible to play golf there.
You're regurgitating information and data that we've been chewing on for 15 years. Is there a question somewhere in there for the commissioner?
No, just that we went to the county commission. All of the golf officers went to the county commission and spoke to them about him building on the golf course. And they all agreed that it would not be a good idea. And now it's sitting in court that many years. And I don't know, will it ever be settled?
All right, just coming up a little more to date on this. I mean, I'm not sure why we're getting into this extended conversation. The county commission has already reversed the zoning, but he's got other problems. You know, there's a 300-page toxicity report which shows a lot of arsenic around that golf course. And we've been in touch with Tallahassee Environmental Protection, and he is going to have to mitigate that arsenic and maybe some other toxic elements in the soil. So not very much is going to happen on that golf course. We are going to continue to badger and badger him until he at least mows the lawn, so that we don't have to look at the jungle and it's not right next to our property line harboring all kinds of rodents. All right, any other questions for the commissioner?
Okay, just 2 points of information. One with regard to the mikvah. The sign was put up there because the county requested it, and that's a long way off still. It's not happening next month or the month after that. We were contacted by the property that's next door, and we are scheduling a meeting at the synagogue, possibly Monday or Tuesday of this week. If they want to speak to us, and we will listen, but we will not commit to anything.
You know, I haven't heard any issue raised on this campus about the mikvah. I do not believe it will in any way impact on traffic. It will be up to the county if any changes have to be made in the light and the timing. I'm more concerned with 100 new housing units directly to the south of you, which according to Commissioner Burdick, we're gonna hear more about.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? In closing, I don't know if you are aware of it. You are all very well versed in politics, so I'm sure you are. But we have one of our very own members of our family here in Century Village, whose son, Jeff Green, is running to be the candidate for governor of the state of Florida. Okay, that's all I'll say. Be well, and thank you all very much.
Thank you. I'd like to now go to the officers' report, starting with the treasurer's report. Sebastian?
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to start off today with the report that we had at the last few delegate meetings about the CDARS bank account. So after what I would consider months and months of calling people and asking them for this CDARS account, and really not very many bank representatives know what we're talking about. We were able to finally get in touch with the correct person over at BB&T who handles the CDARS accounts. Basically, what a CDARS account is a FDIC insured account system to where BB&T would keep the reserve money at different bank accounts like they do now, but instead of it sitting in regular bank accounts, it would sit in CDs. And I brought a few figures with me that came straight from BB&T for 6-month and 1-year CDs. The 6-month CD rate right now is 1.55%, which is obviously 1.55% more than we're earning now, and 1.8% for the 1-year CDs. If we were to stagger the CDs out, which would take the reserve balance and divide it by 6 months or 12 months, depending on the 6-month CD or the 12-month CD, the first year on the 6-month CD, we would earn about $23,000. The second year, we would earn $46,000 and $46,000 every year thereafter that those CD rates remain that number. Now, CD rates are theoretically going to increase, obviously, because interest rates are currently increasing. Now, under the 1-year CD, we would make $0 on the first year because everything would be in the CD. And in year 2, we would earn $54,000. In year 3, $54,000, and so forth. It takes about 4 years for the 1-year CD to earn more money than the 6-month CD. So that's something to think about. With the 6-month CD, we're able to get smaller amounts of cash if we would need anything from the reserve a lot sooner. And it would be more than if it were the 1-year CDs because those are divided by 12. So that's the presentation for the CDs, and I'm going to give that over to the UCO officers.
Just one thing. I would appreciate it if you and Eddie would prepare a written schedule showing the numbers and the laddering, you know, just what you have in mind. Because when we have a quorum, that's an action that I'm going to ask the delegates to vote upon. Okay?
Understood. I'll bring that at the next delegate meeting.
Thanks.
And the next thing I wanted to touch upon was the copier lease. Our contract ends the last day of August, so at the August delegate meeting, I'm going to bring over the proposals that we have so far, and that will kind of put us in a direction to know exactly what we'll say for the future and be able to start working on the 2019 budget. Do I have any questions about the May financials? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sebastian. Apparently, Rhoda didn't bother to, just an oversight, and I didn't catch it when I edited this. So I'm going to bring the officers up for any comments. Normally, we have officers' reports. My report was essentially preempted by Commissioner Burdick. That's fine. About the developments directly across the street. All right, and you can see exactly what the multifamily housing development looks like. I published all the documents on the blog. So why don't we start with Sandy? Yeah. Do you have anything for us?
Good morning. I do. I just want to make sure that you remember that you need to update the form that we have in the UCO office for the CERT representative, the officers and delegates. And this is the information that we use when you sign in here at the Delegate Assembly. And it also has contact information for each of the officers. And this should be done after your annual meeting each year. And anytime there's a change after that, if you need a fresh form, they're available at the UCO office. And when you turn them in, remember that it needs to have your association seal put on it. Thank you.
David.
Good morning. Just a reminder about bulk trash set out. I still see a lot of people setting it out way before Thursday evening. It really isn't supposed to be put out until Thursday evening or Friday morning. And please don't put it in front of the dumpsters because they really don't have to move that stuff. If your dumpster's full and it's all surrounded by bulk trash, sometimes the guys will get out and move it and sometimes they won't. So you could end up with a full dumpster as well. But just remember to set the bulk trash out at the proper times. Thank you.
All right, thanks, David. John?
I hope everybody had a good 4th of July, stayed dry. And I don't want to beat the hurricane season to death. It's already been talked about a couple times. But still, we all need to be prepared. I had something else, but a senior moment just went through. That's good for now. If I think of it, I'll holler it out.
Stuart.
We have somebody in the village that thinks he's going to be in a Mad Max movie because he's driving his motorcycle. And you can't miss it because it's yellow, and he races up and down, but you could hear it coming. So please be alerted. That's item number one. Number two, we have a kid riding a smaller version of a motorcycle. He's dressed in black with a black cap on, and he's got a black hoodie and a backpack, also racing along the roads in Century Village. His motorcycle also makes a lot of noise, so if you're walking or near or whatever, if you know who these people are, would you please tell them that there's a 25-mile-an-hour limit, and we have some people here that just don't move fast, and you never know what could happen to them, so let's avoid an accident. Thank you.
We might bring this up again, Stuart, at security this afternoon. Because PBSO will be there, and they can certainly do something about that. All right. Ed.
Following up on what we have been discussing to some degree, we will always have people that don't like following the rules, but we did have at one of our meetings for transportation an effort by some folks to improve where bus stops occur in the village of their choice. And I'd like to speak to Lori before she leaves today about calling a special session of that committee, because I have a resolution to that problem offered by the bus company, and I think the ladies that spoke to us would be very pleased. So if you can work something out to have a meeting, we'd be able to approve this as soon as possible. Thank you for your time.
I thought you might mention this. There's going to be some changes in the bus routing in the Wellington area. We had a lady come in, and there are some issues getting across the parking lot in traffic and weather. And it's clear that the buses could, like they are in Greenbrier, be run through the Wellington parking lot without any obstruction, and we're going to try to implement that.
Good.
You want to add anything to that, Eddie?
That was primarily the issue I was bringing up, but I think it's something the committee needs to approve so we can implement it as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure.
So let's see if we couldn't get a meeting together.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Do you think I forgot, Joy?
Yes, you did, but that's okay.
No, I didn't. I didn't. Go ahead, Joy.
All right. So I apologize for having to sit down here, but I'm having a little bit of an issue with the balance, and it's difficult for me to get on the stage. However, what I have to say is extremely important, and I wish that everybody here would spread the word along to their neighbors. For the last several years, I have been the chair of the Honor Flight Committee here in the village, and it has been one of the most rewarding experiences that I've ever had. However, due to some health issues, I have to cut back on some of the responsibilities that I have, and this is unfortunately going to be one of them. So I'm making an appeal for someone to come forward to become the new chair of the Honor Flight, and also for members of the committee. There isn't a great deal of work to be done with this committee, but as I say, the rewards are tremendous that you will get from being on this committee and interacting with our veterans. Our veterans are extremely important to all of us, and we want to keep honoring them. We are now accepting Korean War veterans as well, and we have many in this village. And one of the men that just went on the most recent flight came back and told me in the fall he will be here. He would like to address the audience on the impact that this experience had for him. So please spread the word to your neighbors. Think about this yourself. Come forward. These are your vets. They were there when we needed them. Now we're going to return it to them as well. So again, thank you for the honor of having done this all these years. I will stay in touch, of course, with the committee, but I do need somebody to come forward. Thank you again. That's all.
All right, Joy. Being that we lack a quorum, I cannot conceive of what new business might come before the delegate assembly. So I think we'll, of course, the committee reports, if any, as always, are printed in here. And I would now like to move to good of the order, or as it was formerly known, good and welfare. And at this time, I'm going to call George to come up for, we're going to segue right into the next step hearing from our candidates. Yes, Jack?
Good morning. Thank you. I just want to say I've been a resident here for 15 years, and I've never had a complaint about the garbage contractor except for the present one. So I complained vociferously about a year ago that they weren't emptying the recycle bins, and that's the case again. So the recycle bins at our association have been full for 2 weeks. Now, I've been seeing on TV that there's issues with recycling. I don't know if that plays a part in this or not, but they're not emptying the recycling bins, and I'm getting tired of taking all of the plastic bottles out of the recycle bin and putting them in the dumpster because people, the lid is up like that high, the wind blows the lid, the bottles are going all over, and I have to pick them up and put them in a dumpster. So I wish people would just put them in a dumpster. Don't just keep filling them up over the top of the recycle bins. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, a couple of things on this. We have the right person here, because guess who negotiates the great, big trash contract? The county commission.
Thank you. And if anybody has any problem, you can call my office. We will call them directly, but we will also give you the direct number to John Archambault at the Solid Waste Authority, who oversees all of those contracts to make sure that it doesn't happen. And normally within 24 hours, the problem is taken care of. But also as an update, Palm Beach County is embarking upon a new contract with our vendors for the solid waste. 5 years ago, the rates were exceedingly high, and as a result of that contract negotiation, rates dropped significantly. I don't expect that to happen this time because, and part of the issue is the recycling. We used to sell the recycling to China and make money so that we could cut the costs of your trash hauling. China has now refused to take all of the recycling from across the United States, so the market has dropped. Also, because of our new recycling facility, our waste-to-energy facility in Palm Beach County, where people from all over the world come to see this our waste-to-energy facility because it's the only one of its kind, where we create power and we send that power, we sell that to Florida Power and Light. As the energy prices have dropped, so has the revenue received from Florida Power and Light. So we are going to be going out for RFP for new trash haulers, but because of those two significant revenue generators that offset the cost to you as a consumer, I think most likely we are going to see increased costs for our trash hauling in the upcoming contract that should be awarded sometime in the fall, and you will see them in the rates as of the first of the year, as an FYI. But any problems, call my office again. We will get you the number for John Archambault at Solid Waste, or we can call them directly, because you are a service customer and should receive the services that you are entitled to.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about what can we
Little
do,
closer to the mic.
what we can do about the Airbnb hosts here in the village. And will that, if in fact we do get more of those, what will that do to our standing as a 55 community?
UCO and WPRF are on the same page. But initial action must come from the association boards. You have to know who lives in your building. And as a board member, I cannot conceive of why you wouldn't want to know. You have to look at the investigation reports. You have to make decisions on acceptance and rejections. One of the persons whose building, we found one of these units, came in with the most interesting complaint. She goes over to the pool, and she's always seeing new people that she doesn't recognize. Now, I put an article in the paper. That article was vetted by an attorney. I wish everyone would read it. If it is discovered that your building is allowing, and I put that word in quotes, any of your units to act as